If you truly want to change your life, you must begin by changing the way you think about your life. Everything you are today is the result of your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions up to this point. And everything you will become is determined by what you choose to think, decide, and do starting now. This is both the greatest responsibility you carry and the greatest opportunity you will ever be given. One of the most important lessons you will ever learn is that life does not happen to you, it happens for you. Every setback, every disappointment, every failure contains within it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. But that benefit is not automatic. It reveals itself only to those who are willing to learn, to reflect, and to grow. Too many people spend their lives resisting reality. They hold on to what was instead of accepting what is. And in doing so, they block themselves from becoming what they could be. The ability to let go is not weakness. It is one of the greatest strengths you can develop. Letting go means releasing the past. It means forgiving those who hurt you, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. It means accepting that some chapters of your life have ended, even if you did not want them to. It means understanding that holding on to pain does not protect you, it imprisons you. There is a simple truth that many people struggle to accept. You cannot move forward if you are constantly looking backward. Every moment you spend reliving past mistakes, past losses, or past disappointments is a moment you are not investing in your future. Think about this carefully. The past is gone. It cannot be changed. It exists only in your mind. Yet many people allow it to control their emotions, their decisions, and ultimately their destiny. They carry it with them like a heavy weight, slowing them down, draining their energy, and clouding their judgment. Successful people do something different. They learn from the past, but they do not live in it. They extract the lesson and then they let it go. They ask themselves, what can I learn from this? Instead of, why did this happen to me? That single shift in thinking can change everything. When you let go of what no longer serves you, you create space for something better. You create space for growth, for opportunity, for new relationships, for new ideas, and most importantly, you create space for the person you are capable of becoming. Another critical lesson is this: your life improves only when you improve. External circumstances can change temporarily, but lasting success and happiness come from internal growth. This is why continuous learning is so powerful. The most successful people in the world are lifelong learners. They are constantly reading, studying, listening, and improving. They understand that knowledge is not something you acquire once and keep forever. It is something you must continually develop. In a world that is constantly changing, the ability to learn and adapt is more valuable than any single skill. What worked yesterday may not work tomorrow. The strategies, technologies, and opportunities of today will evolve. If you are not growing, you are falling behind. But continuous learning is not just about acquiring information. It is about transformation. It is about becoming a better thinker, a better decision maker, and a better human being. Every time you learn something new, you expand your perspective. You begin to see possibilities where you once saw obstacles. You begin to understand people more deeply. You begin to approach problems with confidence instead of fear. There is a direct relationship between what you learn and what you earn, not only financially, but in terms of fulfillment, relationships, and impact. The more you learn, the more you can contribute. And the more you contribute, the more valuable you become. But learning requires humility. It requires the willingness to admit that you do not know everything. It requires curiosity, discipline, and persistence. It requires you to step outside your comfort zone and challenge your existing beliefs. Many people stop learning because they become comfortable. They settle into routines, into familiar patterns, into predictable outcomes. And while comfort may feel safe, it is also where growth stops. Growth happens at the edge of discomfort. It happens when you try something new, when you take a risk, when you face uncertainty. It happens when you push yourself beyond what is easy and familiar. This is where letting go becomes essential again. You must let go of the fear of failure. You must let go of the need for approval. You must let go of the belief that you are not capable. Fear is one of the greatest barriers to growth. It convinces you to stay where you are, even when you know you are capable of more. It tells you that it is safer not to try, not to risk, not to change. But here's the truth. The greatest risk in life is not taking one. The greatest risk is staying the same. Every successful person you admire has faced fear. They have faced uncertainty, doubt, and failure. But they did not allow those things to stop them. They moved forward anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act despite fear. It is the willingness to step into the unknown and trust that you will figure it out. And you will figure it out. Human beings are remarkably adaptable. You have more potential, more resilience, and more capability than you realize. But you will never discover it if you do not challenge yourself. Another important lesson is the power of responsibility. You are responsible for your life. Not your parents, not your circumstances, not your past. You. This is not always easy to accept. It is much easier to blame external factors. It is much easier to say, I can't because. But every time you do that, you give away your power. When you take full responsibility, everything changes. You stop waiting for things to happen, and you start making things happen. You stop being a victim of circumstances, and you become the creator of your life. Responsibility gives you control, and control gives you confidence. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build. It is built through action, through experience, through learning and growth. Every time you step outside your comfort zone and succeed, your confidence grows. But even when you fail, your confidence can still grow if you choose to learn from the experience. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. Every mistake contains valuable information. It shows you what does not work. It helps you refine your approach. It strengthens your resilience. But to benefit from failure, you must let go of the emotional attachment to it. You must not define yourself by your mistakes. You must see them as temporary events, not permanent identities. You are not your failures. You are the person who learns from them. And learning is a lifelong process. There is no final destination. There is no point at which you have learned everything you need to know. The most successful people understand this. They remain students of life. They read books. They listen to mentors. They ask questions. They seek feedback. They reflect on their experiences. They are constantly looking for ways to improve. You can do the same. You do not need special talent or extraordinary intelligence. You need commitment. You need discipline. You need the willingness to keep going even when it is difficult. Discipline is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who only talk about them. Motivation might get you started, but discipline keeps you going. There will be days when you do not feel like learning, when you do not feel like growing, when you do not feel like taking action. Those are the days that matter most. Because success is not built on what you do occasionally, it is built on what you do consistently. Small, consistent actions repeated over time lead to extraordinary results. This is one of the most powerful principles you can apply in your life. If you read just a few pages every day, you will complete dozens of books over time. If you practice a skill consistently, you will become an expert. If you make small improvements each day, you will transform your life. But consistency requires commitment. It requires you to show up, even when it is inconvenient, even when it is uncomfortable, even when you do not see immediate results. And this is where patience comes in. Growth takes time. Success takes time. Learning takes time. We live in a world that often emphasizes instant gratification. People want quick results, quick success, quick change. But real, lasting change does not happen overnight.